Hello everyone and welcome to Harv's World. So we're moving on from Pineapple Bay, and I thought you all might be interested in seeing how I set up a Let's Play series. Now, keep in mind Pineapple Bay is part of the Harv's World World Tour, which means I can't go to a country I've already been to. So that was my first consideration. What country am I going to? And I often ask you guys what you would like to see. And one of the suggestions was Germany. Well, I thought that was a good idea. And here we are in Ravensberg, so I'm going to go into Ravensberg now. Other things I need to consider is, how do I continue my storyline? Things happened in Pineapple Bay that need to be explained or resolved. All of that comes out in the story, so that's not really part of setting up. But it does help me determine the how and why of where I'm going. Anyway, another thing, what do I want to do on this map? What are my goals? What is my purpose? These are things I have to think about when I'm setting up a Let's Play series. Now, one of the things I knew going into this was that I wanted to do another run at Seasons. I've only done one, and honestly I could use the practice, and I felt like this might be a good place to do it. Because one thing I knew, I wanted a place that had plenty of winter work and snow. So Ravensberg is set up for that. From what I've been told and everything I've read, it does have a good amount of work for the winter, like snow contracts and things like that. That's something I wanted to consider as I go into this also. So I am starting on Farm Manager. And we've got the 1.25 million. Now I'm going to tell you right now, I do have easy dev controls installed to help me along with this because, well, it's necessary to set up a Let's Play series, in my opinion anyway. The console guys, they have to jump through some hoops to get this to work for them. We're a little bit luckier on PC that we have something like this. Now we do start right here in downtown Ravensberg. This is a beautiful map. I did do a map tour on it. If you haven't checked that out, I strongly advise it, but I have done a little bit of looking around. Now, I already decided I am not going to own a farm. After the events in Pineapple Bay, I'm basically starting over and having to go back to work for somebody else. So that's where I'm at. And then if we do look at our map really quickly, there are multiple places that a farm can be set up on this map, which is beautiful. This is actually right up here, the starting area, if you start in New Farmer. But looking around, I really like this area down in here. I like it a lot, and so I'm going to be setting up right here. And the first thing I'm going to do, of course, is buy the land. Now, for me, going into this, I'm imagining that I'm going to work for a cattle farmer, which is going to be a challenge on Seasons. It's going to be quite the challenge because this guy is not a small-time cattle farmer. He's going to be a big-time producer. So with that said, I am going to buy this farm right here, and that's going to give me access to all of the buildings that have already been placed. So I can sell those off, I can keep them, I can do whatever I want to with them. I also know that I want field 24 right here. I want field 23 right here. I want this grass pasture right there. I want this roadway right up to the farm. And then I want 28 and 29 right there. Like I said, this guy is big time. He is not fooling around. Anyway, that's where we're going to start. This is what he owns. I think that's a pretty good setup for a big-time cattle rancher. Now, as I look around, while this is a very nice map, I think the setup on it could be just a little bit better, and for additional reasons. This cattle barn that the map comes with only holds 100 cattle. Well, this guy is big time, so he needs something more than that. So I'm going to start by going into my garage. I'm going to find that cattle barn. Oh, yeah, it was the very first thing on the list. And I'm going to sell that bad boy off. Bye-bye. Now he does have a single bunker silo. He's going to need more than that for a big cattle operation, so I'm going to sell that bad boy off too. And then the small silo with only 100,000 liters, no, he's going to have a lot more than that, so I'm going to get rid of that also. Now I do like the storages that have been built into this map. Top Ace did a good job incorporating those, and I am going to use them. I think I might move them around a little bit, so I might end up selling them and replacing them, including this liquid fertilizer tank. We'll see. And then these other storage buildings, like the small shed, that's not going to do me a lot of good. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. I'll keep the wash station. The fence and gate, I believe these belong to the farm up north, actually. I'm actually sure that they do, so I'm not going to touch those. Even though I own them, they don't affect me in any way, shape, or form. So there is that. I'm also going to sell the farmhouse. The reason I'm selling the farmhouse is I'm not living in the farmhouse, and I don't imagine a big-time cattle rancher who brings somebody in to take care of his operation, at least that's my my focus, is going to be living directly there either. I think he's going to have a more upscale living facility. Maybe that fence is down here. Maybe I do need to sell that off. Is that the fence? Let's take a look and see. Oh, it sure is. So where are the other walls that this is talking about then? Because I don't see them anywhere. Well, if I come across them, I will sell them off. But I don't see those walls around, so no worries about that. Okay, moving right along. Now, like I said, I know this guy is going to be big-time cattle. And so I want to place a couple of animal pens. Now I have installed this cow shed, a nice big fat one. And as you can see, it will not go in here. And this is exactly the way I want to place it. However, I also have Global Company installed, and if I go into Global Company and activate Extended Placeables, and then go back to that cattle stable, cow shed, now I can place it, because Global Company gets rid of all of those, or manages, I should say, all of those collisions that prevent you from placing something like this. So with that said, I want to leave plenty of room up here in the north. I'm not as concerned about the south, and if these two trees get incorporated into it, so much the better. I don't want to get too close to my field, but at the same time, do I care that much? No, not really. And I'm just going to make sure that I'm taking advantage of, well, I don't want to have to do too much with terrain deformation to fix it. You know what I mean. I probably still am going to have to, but that is what it is. Yeah, that's probably about right. I'd say that's about right. I'll push out toward the road there just a little bit much, right down here to the edge of this field. Yeah. Let's go with that and see what we got. Not bad. Not bad at all. Looks like I will probably have to do a little bit to clean up. Maybe not. Let's get down there and take a look. Nope, this edge looks just fine. Could put a little shed right there, I suppose. But now I've got access to water, straw, everything that I'm going to need for my cattle. I can get over here and get my manure and slurry very easily. Now, one thing that I am going to do to get this party started is I'm going to advance this enough to make sure this water fill point has been installed. So, because I know I'm going to want easy access to water, especially if I'm going to have hundreds and hundreds of cattle. Okay, that is part one of cattle. The next thing I want to do, I want a place where cattle can graze. And so I've got, oh, where's the cow pasture? This is an open cow pasture fantastic mod because you can just kind of place it anywhere, and it's not fenced in, so your cattle can go wherever you want them to go. And yeah, I like that. I like that down on this end. More like that. No, I don't like that as much. Because the cattle are going to be entering on the right here, so this lined up more with that road there is going to make the most sense. So boom, I'm going to knock that in right there. And now you can see that there's posts, so the cattle aren't going to take up all of this area, but they're going to take up a good portion of this area. And we'll have free reign. And I can move, you know, 100 cattle up here at a time so they can graze for a while and then transfer them out. I mean, that could be incorporated. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that I'm looking at when I'm placing stuff like this or considering stuff like this. And now I want to just make this look a little more natural. And one of the nice things that Top Ace has done is he's included a lot of different textures, and he tells you what they are. It's brilliant. So this right here is our animal dealer's point, or where I would unload a trailer. So he actually has animal mud, and I'm just going to put some animal mud right in here, like animals have loaded and unloaded right here, which makes a great deal of sense. And then, you know, maybe a truck right through here, just where they've kind of traveled a little bit. Put some right along here. You know, this is their water trough after all. It would be sloshed, and animals would be working their way up to it to get their water. And then I'm going to find another kind of mud. That's just dirt. That's wet dirt. That sounds perfect. So I'm just going to fill in. Now that's too wet, isn't it? Oh, yeah, that's what I was really looking for. So this is obviously the manure pit right here, and it's definitely going to be, you know, wet, sloppy. You don't expect manure to be dry and pristine, and we'll just push that out a little bit so it's, you know, and we'll do just a little bit of dark mud right around the, yeah, about like so. Okay, there's that. Let's go look at our other cattle pasture, see if we just need to texture it up a little bit more. And again, let's see, that's our milk collection point. Our cattle entry is going to be right here. That looks pretty good already. Maybe a little bit of animal mud right there. There it is, animal mud. Just a little bit, just a little bit right through here. Give it a little bit of texture, and then I will paint more grass back in here, because one thing that happens when you place something like this, you get all these strange lines, like everything is pristine and square, and so I wanted to have a more natural look to it, and so I'm just going to paint grass in here. About like so, and about like so. You know, why would grass grow in a perfectly straight line like that? Well, it wouldn't. And we'll just do this. And when this all gets like mowed down or whatever, it doesn't grow back properly. You have to paint it back in. And I will do that along here. About like so. Yep, just about like that. And I kind of envision a little bit of a road running back to get into this field and this field. So we'll take care of that in just a minute. I'm going to push my grass back up here. About like so. And this isn't really, you know, this wasn't intended to be like a farm building tutorial or anything like that. But I'm just showing, you know, this is the kind of thing that that you do when you're getting a Let's Play ready. You start thinking about all these things, and you start placing your stuff, and You know, again, this is a silage pit. Why is it concrete? I guess I could do a wet concrete. That would make a little bit more sense, but still not a lot. Right here we've got our slurry tank, so it's going to be kind of mucky. Mucky and disgusting. And we'll get our grass to cover up the rest of this. And it's got a little bit more natural feel to it, so, you know, the grass is getting up. Stuff like that. Over here, you know, why is the grass perfectly aligned? Well, it wouldn't be, would it? Nope. If I'm going to do some grass over here, probably a good idea to fill this in just a little bit. Yeah. Now, I mean, I know why this happens. I'm not, like, being critical of the mod makers or anything. That's not my point. Let's get that back up so we can just fill in this faster. There we go. I mean, they have to have some kind of a foundation to place their stuff on, so. Okay, moving right along. Now, one thing that has happened in doing this is that I have lost my road. Because there is a road that comes right through here and it turns and comes up this way. So I'm going to put my road back in. About like so. And this doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, it's just a road, and we're gonna put a little bit of grass back in there, just, you know, maybe make it some forest ground, so it's, you know, like we've been driving through, that kind of thing, the way the map makers always do. Yeah, that's coming together. Okay. All right, enough of that. Looks like our animal pens are set. Cattle are ready to go for the most part. Not bad, not bad at all. Okay. Now for our farmyard, because I do want this guy to have a good sizable farmyard. And I am going to get rid of the, I'm going to replace them, but I am going to sell off the, oops. Stop it. I am going to sell off these things. Oops. I want to see, where was that shed at? Yeah, that shed right there is going to be fine. It's a nice big one. I like the look of it. That will hold some hefty equipment. Okay, so we've got open farmyard at this point. No problem there. The first thing I want to get in place is a silo. Why do I keep going to that screen? So I'm going to grab a silo. It's going to be a multi-fruit silo because there's a lot going on this map. So this will hold... Oh, well, you know, we can solve that problem. Now this is where we get to add money, because I done spent it all. So we'll add 10 million, go back in and get our silo. That's the extension. Where was that? There it is. Extra large multi-fruit silo. This guy does not muck around. So that, nope, that's not where I wanted that. I did like the placement of this before. Okay. So now I've got a big fat hefty silo. And, well, that took up a lot more space than our little silo, but that's okay. We don't care. Don't care at all, because now we're going to put those storage. And were they actually in silos? Let's make sure and see. I've got so much stuff installed. Yes, they were. So we had fertilizer storage. We'll put that right about here. Nope. I just thought about how I want to handle this, and now I know. So we're going to put fertilizer storage right in here. I want to make sure it's straight enough. It's not. That'll do me. So right about there. And then seed, we are going to put right next to it. Just about there. Did that place right? Yes, it did. And we will get our lime right about there. So now these are all together, which makes more sense to me. I don't know about you guys, but it makes more sense that that would all be there. And then we can get our liquid herbicide, because a liquid tank, I think, would be separate from everything else and have its own little area in case it leaks, kind of thing. And we're going to put that over here. Like so. Voila. Perfect. Outstanding. Okay, we are trucking right along. Now, as far as bunker silos go, this guy's going to have at least 2. And the reason I say this is because looking at seasons and cattle, well, that's going to require a whole other, it's going to be a whole other set of challenges, because this is also using Maize Plus, and now Maize Plus will change the feeding requirements of your animals. So I see where taking advantage of this rock wall over here, this level change, makes a lot of sense. Although, should I leave an out on the other end? Probably. So I should probably set these dead center, about like so. That might be a little bit tight, but I think that will do. Yeah, because we've got a road coming in right here. Yep, I think that will manage quite nicely. Abso-floggin-lutely. Okay, we are trucking now. Sheds. I would like a nice pull-through shed, but I don't see that I'm going to get anything like that. How is this one? It's not bad, is it? So if I push this right up against the bunker silos like so, I don't want it really to overhang the bunker silos, but if I put it right up here on this corner, let's see how this sorts itself out. So about like so. And we have room for a second one. Yes, yes we do. Perfect. About like that. Very nice indeed. That's going to make us a little bit narrow coming through here, a little bit tight to get our equipment into that shed, but not too bad. Okay. So, with all of that said, let's take a look around. I think this is pretty much going to be my guy's cattle operation. So that's him set up and ready to go. Now, of course, everything's going to change once I load seasons in here. So we'll have to take that into consideration, but everything is going to change. So I sold the house because I said I'm not living up here, and I couldn't imagine him really living up here much either. So what am I going to do for a living place? Well, I'll tell you. I'm actually going to let you in on this. Those of you who watch this. Now, the town itself, if we go into our lands, you can actually buy this plot of land, the whole town, for $115,000, not quite $116,000. I am going to do that. And I'll tell you why. Not because there's anything in town that I can take advantage of per se. I mean, I guess I could come in and chop down all the trees, but that would just be stupid. So I'm not going to do that. But what I can do is, let's see. So right here, I'm going to place, I hope in the right way, yes, yes. And of course, it had to have dirt under it, because why wouldn't a welcome mat have dirt under it? So I'm going to have to paint that, the cobblestone back in. Luckily, I know there are cobblestones to be painted in. These cobblestones. There we go. So, now I've got a welcome mat in front of this lovely little apartment building where I can rent a flat and come to sleep. So now I've got a place to sleep in town, no problem whatsoever. I've got a farm built up and ready to go, and now it's going to be choice of equipment. This guy has a big operation. He's going to need some big equipment, and I'm going to get out of this flight mode and everything for the moment, especially the speed. Okay, now one thing I also happen to have installed is store deliveries. So whatever equipment I buy will be delivered right here. The first thing we're going to look at is tractors. One thing I know, this guy is German. And so I'm really, because I haven't used them, I really haven't. So I really kind of want this guy to be a class farmer. And I know he's going to need some serious horsepower. And I'm just looking at this thing, because that's going to be an interesting piece of equipment. I like the look of that too, and if we have a max engine setup, that'd be 445. I like it. What are our design options? Oh, just tinted windows. What the heck. That seems to get a little bit funky when you start changing. That's not bad. Alright, that's going to be his heavy hauler right there. So we have got this lovely, lovely class. Now, I'm not going to buy every piece of equipment right now, but you get the idea. We're going to need to outfit this farm, and it's going to have to be well outfitted. No mucking about. I know that mowers are going to be important here. So do I want him to have a full-blown self-propelled, or am I going to go with mower, just standard mower equipment? Now, the reason mowers are going to be so important, I'll tell you right now, frankly, is because we're dealing with cattle here. So we're going to need plenty of hay, straw, grass, all that jazz. And so a mower is going to be an exceptionally important piece of equipment. To add the swathing plates and buy the easy cut. And then I will buy the, yeah, that thing. the butterfly mower. And we'll grab our cloths and get this thing out of the way. Good thing I kept the big shed down there because it's going to be needed for these big tall mowers. And the last thing I'm going to buy, just to get us set up a little bit, and then I will be coming back in. And, you know, I don't want to give everything away. You guys don't want to know every nook and cranny of what I'm going to be doing here because it'll ruin the first episode. I don't know about that, but I'm going to look at harvesters. And I think this guy is going to have something pretty darn sizable. Although this Tucano, 11,000 liters, 381 horsepower, but then there's the Lexion. I'm kind of thinking this is where he would go. This guy has money to burn. Big money to burn. Yep, I think that's where we're going. Because this isn't going to be so much... Yeah, I don't want to give stuff away. Not giving it away, not doing it. Which of course means we're going to need headers for these things. So, might as well look at the corn headers. $9 meters. And it doesn't appear to be foldable. I wonder if this Capello... I'll bet it would. We can make it a Kloss green. Yep, we're buying that bad boy. And yes, we will come back and look at that beast. That thing is a beast. We will come back and get the standard header also. Yeah, probably not the best idea. I'll have plenty of other stuff to put in these smaller sheds, trust me. Plenty. Alright. Yeah, save my content, blah blah blah. Oh yes, standard header. The Kloss has a 12.3 meter header, but we have a Draper stream that's 13.7 that I like better. I can put whatever decal on it I want. Like so. I can turn the main color to Kloss. I think Kloss would have a white. Yep, I think that looks pretty Kloss-like to me. So yeah, we're going to buy that bad boy. So you get the gist. Buying equipment, you know, we're looking at scale right now. You know, we're looking at what are our fields. I've got 28 and 29. I've got this grass field up here. I've got 24 over there. And then the bigger field down here, whatever that number was, I'm slowly trudging to get to 23. So this guy has a good full setup. Now we are going to save the game. Because I want to look and see. And I'm going to reload it now. So I'm going back in and looking at my my mods, and I'm going to show you that I have got seasons, which I'm going to fire up right now. And the geo that I picked, and the reason I picked this geo is because I was reading a forum where Top Ace 888 was discussing this map with some folks, and he recommended Seasons Geo Central Europe Simplified. And that's what I'm going with. That's why I'm going with this particular geo. So that's what we are going to start with. And we're going to jump in here, look at our season settings, and see just what might work best for us. Okay, so we are jumping in on the first day of spring. Going to hop right up here to our starter farm. Now we're going to take a look at our fields. Now I want to see what our fields have done or are doing on the first day of seasons. Everything should be bare. First day of spring. Make sure that my time scale is down. Yep. So this field is set to a harvested state now. I'm sure all of our fields are going to be like this. Yep. So we are just getting started. Now I've got more to do to set this guy up. I've got to buy his cattle, etc., etc., etc. But I want to turn off these silly fill markers too. I guess they're not silly if you don't know how to use them. But for me, I don't need them anymore. There we go. Okay. I think that setup is just right. So we're going to open our seasons menu. And I want to look at my settings. I'm going to go to Fahrenheit, even though I'm in Germany and I will be playing with euros and stuff like that. But I need to use Fahrenheit so I understand the weather. Because I'm from the US, I own it. I'm going to go ahead and leave season introductions on for now. I'm going to set the length to 6 days. We'll leave crop moisture on, snow tracks on, snow mode on, full blown. So snow will fall in cold winters and block roads. That's what we want. Not worried about crop rotations right now, not worried about any of this stuff right now. Although we do need to look at our food because we are going to have cattle, and you can see for cattle now we're going to need 4 different types of food. Maize silage, grass silage, or WCS fermented, then hay, clover hay or alfalfa hay, clover silage and alfalfa or alfalfa silage, and then grass fresh or just grass or clover or fresh maize. So all of these things are going to be needed to keep these animals alive and producing. I'm not sure what kind of cattle yet. Is it going to be beef cattle? Is it going to be milk? Is it going to be a combination of both? I'm not sure. I haven't picked out the cattle for seasons yet. And then what we also haven't done, we haven't gone in and done our settings. I don't want helpers to buy anything. Let's see. Nope, don't want them to buy anything, so turn off all of my helper stuff. Default fuel usage will stick with normal economic difficulty for the time being. Traffic on, dirt normal, automatic engine start off. I hate that, it drives me crazy. Stop and grow braking on. Oh. Slurry off, autosave interval off. I do not use autosave. Crop destruction off. I don't like crop destruction. And then we're going to set this to euros, kilometers, and hectares. Okay, I think that looks good. We're going to save our game at this point. And I think, for the most part, that's going to do it for this setup. It's really not that complicated. I'm going to do just one more quick flyover. I mean, I do have more work to do, but I don't want to spoil everything. But again, you know, it's figuring out what map you want to go to and why. And so I needed a country I hadn't been to. Germany was a suggestion. I chose Germany based on that suggestion. And then what did I want to do in Germany? Well, I wanted to play seasons. I knew that. That was another part of choosing the map. I knew I wanted to start on seasons, and I wanted to make sure that there was going to be work to do in the winter. And I knew Ravensberg had work available in the wintertime. This looks very industrial, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Another reason we're not living here. This is all about production, producing cattle. So anyway, I know who my employer's going to be, and I know what he's about. That's part of my decision-making process too. And then what do I need? What do I need to get that started? And I think this is set up fairly well for a good start. So, and then it's going to be filling in the equipment, making sure that I've got, because this isn't an operation that is fly by night. I mean, it's been up and running for a while. Where am I going to live? Stuff like that. I've already forgotten where I'm going to live. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. And then surveying the area and seeing what is available. You know, one thing about Ravensberg, there's plenty going on. The dock. Multiple little village areas, which is nice. You know, there is another farm up here. This is your original starting farm right here on New Farmer. So that's pretty much it. That's where I'm set for Ravensberg. Do I know the complete storyline yet? Nope. What I do know is that I'm coming from Pineapple Bay and I need a purpose. And I do have all of that sorted out, at least in my head. So let me know what you think of this setup for Ravensberg. What am I missing? Tell me what I can add. Feel free to offer suggestions, comments, whatever. Again, plenty more equipment's going to be added before this starts up. Probably sometime next week will be the first episode. Anyway, this is my preparation for Ravensberg and my next Let's Play series. As always, I appreciate you coming along for the ride. And until next time, take care.